Hello, my name is Cheryl Meyer, otherwise known as Cheryl M. Health Muse, and I am a health coach. I want to welcome you to my podcast, It Feels Good to Feel Good, Future-Proof Your Health. This is a weekly show that will share lifestyle changes that you can make to support your health yourself. Why do I want to share this information with you? 7 years ago, after being a business owner for 20 years, I woke up one morning in horrific pain where every bone and every joint in my body hurt. I went to the doctor. She ran lots of tests, and then she ran some more, and then she ran some more, and finally she called me and announced she was going to give me steroids, but there was absolutely nothing wrong with me and I should seek therapy. I knew something was wrong. I hurt. So she told me I would be on steroids for the rest of my life, and I refused that I was going to have a life of pain and pills. So why was I going to take steroids if there was nothing wrong with me? So I dug in and started researching, and I turned my business over to my staff. I found a functional doctor who confirmed that I had autoimmune disease by making a series of significant lifestyle changes that I could do for myself. 5 years later, I had returned to relative health. The best part is that I am now 70, and I feel better now than I did when I was 50. I no longer hurt, which is huge. I will always have autoimmune disease, but losing the pain has been amazing. I went back to school at 67 and became a health coach because I want to share everything that I learned with others. And I wrote a book called It Feels Good to Feel Good, Learn to Eliminate Toxins, Reduce Inflammation, and Feel Great Again, as the manual I wished that I had had when I got sick, and my book has won 13 awards. So whether you want to future-proof your health and grow old with dignity and grace without dementia and chronic pain and disease, which you don't need to get, or whether or not you already have a chronic condition like autoimmune disease or cancer or heart disease, and you want to learn about what things you can do to improve your long-term health, or whether you want to improve the health of your families and raise healthy children, because 53% of our children have a chronic condition, I look forward to sharing all this information with you. I will tell you, it truly does feel good to feel good, so let's get started. I look forward to having you join me here every week, and I want to give you hope that if you have chronic pain or chronic disease, you can make changes that will improve your health. And if you don't want to go there, you're going to be fine if you listen to the show and put these things into work. I want to give you information so that you can grow old and have a better tomorrow. So thank you for joining me. Let's get started. Welcome to another edition of It Feels Good to Feel Good, Future-Proof Your Health. And what we're talking about today is how the heck to get a good night's sleep. This is the second of my sleep podcasts. The first one is why do we need to sleep and what's important about the time that we sleep. And for me personally, there were two big takeaways from that. The first one is, I thought when I slept that my body was sleeping too, and it's not. Your body has a lot of duties that it does while you're sleeping. It does a complete tune-up. And so it's important that you get a really deep night's sleep so that your body can go through that entire tune-up so that when you wake up in the morning, you wake up and you are all refreshed. The second thing that was important about that is we need to get sleep, and we need to get 7 continuous hours of sleep, because that 7th hour is when the brain sweeps out the plaque, which causes dementia. And I don't know about you, but I'm 72 and I don't want to lose my memory, so it's even more important now for me to make sure that I'm trying to get that 7 continuous hours of sleep. So what's this podcast going to be on? This podcast is on all of the things that you can do to make sure that you are getting those 7 continuous hours of sleep. And I wanted to point out that I have an entire chapter on sleep in my first book, which has now won 17 awards which is It Feels Good to Feel Good, which is all about where did I find toxins in my life, which I eliminated and found other things to replace them with. And there's a chapter in here on toxic sleep as well as toxic stress. So if you like what I'm talking about, you might want to consider reading my book. I am told that it's an easy read, and most people keep it right next to their bed so that they can refer to it as a reference book no matter what's going on in their life. And it's written as a layman to other people who are also either dealing with chronic illness or other people who just want to live healthier lives. So this was the basis for my sleep information, but I have gathered more information that I'm going to be sharing with you today in this podcast. And before we really get into the beef of how to sleep better at night, I want to go over the things that you should be doing during the daytime that will set you up for a good night's sleep, because they're important too. And this is where I ended part one of why we need to sleep. Your morning routine is incredibly important to you getting a good night's sleep at night. And we might not have connected those dots easily, but the definitive study on why we sleep, recently done at UC Berkeley, has talked about these are the things you need to do in the morning so that when it's time to go to bed, you're going to sleep well at night. The first one is rise and shine. Don't hit the snooze alarm, because that's not going to do you any good. You're not going to get any more quality sleep just because you're going to stay in bed. And what it's going to do is put a wrinkle into your circadian rhythm. So when you get up and you wake up or the alarm goes off, you just want to get up. You want to rise and you want to shine. You want to exercise early, and you want to get at least 15 minutes of natural light. So you want to go outside, and even if it's just to walk down to the end of the street and back, you want to get a little bit of movement in right when you get up in the morning, which will help you sleep later at night. It will help you fend off insomnia that you did this, and it will allow you to reset your clock so that when it's time to go to bed at night, you're all ready to go. Obviously, if you're smoking, you want to ditch them, because smoking interrupts your breathing, and that interrupts your good night's sleep. Right before you go to bed at night, you want to when you get up in the morning, you want to take a warm shower or a bath. And you don't need it to be a long one, but you do need it to release tension and wash away the stress of the day before it even starts. So you want to get up, take that shower or that bath, and wake up completely so that you're ready to face your day. I also recommend this at night, which is why I got confused when I saw my note here, but we'll talk about that in a minute. If you feel groggy at all when you first get up in the morning, you want to try some light stretching or some yoga. Before I even get out of bed, I stretch. I reach and touch the wall, and I stretch my toes to try to reach the bottom of the bed. And then when I get up, I lean over and I touch my toes, because stretching wakes up my body and takes all the kinks out of my night's sleeping. So those are the things you want to do during the day when you first get up. So now let's move right on to what do you need to do to get a better night's sleep. I started with what causes sleep disruption in the first place. If you've been having trouble sleeping, it's a pretty common complaint, especially in these challenging times. And we certainly have been under a lot of stress in this time of COVID-19. So maybe you're waking up in the middle of the night and then just staring at the ceiling for the next hour, or maybe you're just having a hard time dropping off, which we'll talk about things you can do for that so that you don't go into dreamland in the first place. Even little kids who are terrific sleepers sometimes have a problem getting to sleep at night. So it's great if there is a quick and easy fix for sleep issues, but it depends upon whatever the underlying cause is. Stress is a biggie. So eating or drinking too much before bedtime, we talked in the last podcast that when you eat, you won't only want to eat until you're 80% full, and then you stop, because your body catches up with you and it knows it's completely full, after a half an hour. So you don't want to eat until you're completely full, because then you're going to have that bleh, I ate too much feeling, and you don't want to go to bed with that bleh, I ate too much feeling. You don't want to drink too much, and you certainly don't want to be drinking a lot of alcohol. The rule from that, which was from my liver podcast, is women should not have more than 1 glass of wine a night, and men should not have more than 2. And alcohol will interrupt your sleep. So you don't want to be drinking alcohol close to bed. And certainly, if you think you're drinking alcohol to help you sleep, it has the opposite effect. You don't want to be watching stimulating TV or playing video games before you go to bed. And you want to check if you're taking any sleep medications that might be affecting your sleep patterns. And remember, being a couch potato isn't a good idea either. Regular activity during the day can promote a good night's sleep. So you want to make sure that you keep moving, that you keep exercising. I have a chapter in my first book on what to do to exercise if you're somebody who hates to exercise, which would be me. What I did was I bought a little, what I call my mini trampoline, but it's a rebounder, and I spend a half an hour on my rebounder jiggling. I might be jumping, I might be jiggling, but I do it to country western music because VH1 doesn't seem to be on my cable channel anymore. So I tape the top 20, and then I jiggle or I jump on my mini rebounder for a half an hour every morning, and that gets my lymph system working and gets my blood flowing, and that also helps me sleep at night. We need to be aware of what our possible sleep saboteurs are, and if we're taking sleeping pills, that's not a good idea because nobody really gets a good night's sleep with sleeping pills. The next interview I'm going to do is with a gentleman who actually got addicted to sleeping medication. You don't want to be taking sleeping pills. There are other natural things that you can do instead, and that's what we're going to talk about today. The biggest factor that's going to interrupt your sleep is inflammation. And so I've discussed inflammation in several of my previous podcasts. If you're having a problem with inflammation, go back and listen and pay attention to the things that cause inflammation, what causes leaky gut, what causes inflammation, and inflammation, which is caused by stress or by eating the wrong foods or by lack of sleep, all of that causes inflammation. Then I give you all kinds of ways to take care of the inflammation in my other podcasts. So go back and listen to those because you want to get your inflammation as low as possible so that you can get a good night's sleep. So having a bad night's sleep isn't causing you more inflammation, which will then impact your sleep. If you have decreased insulin sensitivity or diabetes, that can interrupt your sleep. And cortisol, which is your stress hormone, can also interrupt your sleep. I had so little cortisol when I got autoimmune disease, I was almost to Addison's disease. So learning to control my stress has been critical, and I'm going to remind you, my favorite thing to do to control my stress is Dr. Weil's 478 breathing exercise, which you can look up on YouTube and do it right with him until it's second nature that you're doing that. But what that exercise does is reset your parasympathetic nervous system and relax you so that you don't have toxic or chronic stress. It will also even out your cortisol, which is what you want to do. When your body remains on high alert, what it's doing is mobilizing all your resources to provide it the required energy to run or face down danger. And so if I lay down to go to sleep at night and I'm wide awake, the first thing I do is several rounds of that breathing exercise, which helps me a ton. And so that's my first suggestion to you. Keep doing that breathing exercise until you feel your body relax, because you don't want to be in danger mode because then you're not going to sleep. You want to be in relaxed mode so that you can sleep. If you have a problem with blood sugar and you've not eaten enough protein, You might go into hypoglycemia, which is low blood sugar. That can interrupt your sleep, and that's not a good thing because of the delay in the insulin response. And so you don't want to crash and feel tired. You want to make sure that your sugar level and your insulin is even. And the best way to do that is to eat at least a small amount of quality protein at night for dinner so that you're releasing sugar slowly, which will relax your body and give you an even amount of insulin so that you can go to sleep. Cortisol also prevents your T3 function in your thyroid, and so your thyroid can be affected if you're not eating right and if you're not reducing your stress. So that's important as well. You want to take, in our jam-packed culture, sleep seems to always take a seat behind the hustle of packing in as much as we possibly can pack in during the day. And it's as important to our health as eating and stress are, and breathing is also important to our health. So if you get all the pillars into place, if you eat a GLAD diet, which is the Green American Live Living diet, not the SAD diet, which is the standard American diet. So if you're eating the right food that's 70% organic fruits and vegetables, and if you're getting your stress released during the day and keeping it below chronic level, either by breathing or by some kind of light exercise. The other exercise I use for stress is just to stand next to my chair and jiggle for 3 minutes. I just jump up and down and let my whole body wiggle, which sends blood to my brain and releases chronic stress. So any of those are good, but that's the second pillar. So you want to eat right, you want to not have chronic or toxic stress, you want to get enough sleep, because if you don't, it's going to interrupt your sleep the next night. And so all of these things are important. And then the last one is you want to breathe. You want to take deep breaths and you want to exercise your lungs. And that's why I use the Dr. Andrew Weil breathing exercise, because it not only resets my parasympathetic nervous system and releases toxic stress, but it also gets my body into the rhythm of a regular breathing routine, which is the other pillar that's important for health. While a good night's sleep often consistently eludes us, then our well-being is negatively impacted. Because if we're not getting a good night's sleep, we deal with fatigue, irritability, daytime sleepiness. We have a potential for weight gain, and I'm going to end this podcast on how sleep actually impacts your beauty. It contributes to symptoms of anxiety and depression. It elevates your blood pressure and increases your risk of diabetes, and it decreases your immunity, which will open the door for other health issues like getting COVID-19 because your immunity isn't working as well as it should be. And it decreases your mental focus during the day and problem solving and creativity. So it's all important that you take care of your 4 pillars, that you're eating correctly, you're releasing your stress, that you're breathing properly, and all of that will allow you to get a quality night's sleep. Is it really okay for you to take little naps during the day? If you didn't sleep, then I would rather have you take a little nap. I call them power naps. I don't ever lay down to sleep more than maybe 15 minutes or at maximum a half an hour. And I'm careful not to ever allow my naps to be longer than that, because then it interrupts my good night's sleep. And getting that good night, 7 continuous hours of sleep is one of the most important things you can do. Here are quick facts about sleep that I wanted to share with you. Our brain is very active during sleep. It's not only during the REM, rapid eye movement stage. The entire time we're sleeping, it's actually working harder than it does during the day. Remember the tune-up that it's going through. Sleep actually is when we organize our memories and master skills and perfect all the new information that's been learned through the day. During sleep, our digestion shifts to the heal and repair mode, termed the fasting or catabolic phase. This is when the body cleans up after a hard day's work, and it digests everything that we put into our mouth while we're sleeping. So it's really important that we get that sleep. During sleep, every cell and tissue of our body works differently, and in a sense, every tissue has a separate to-do list during sleep. So it's really important that that tune-up can happen. And then adequate restful sleep is critical for higher order thinking, problem solving, creativity, etc. And you're only 25% as efficient at your job or your life if you don't get proper sleep. Okay? So here we go. This is what we're going to do to get a good night's sleep. First thing is we're going to set a sleep schedule and we're going to stick to it. And the name of the game is consistency. So go to bed every night, even on weekends and during holidays, at the same time, because having a consistent schedule for sleep is really important. And then wake up every morning at the same time. Try not to nap unless you really didn't sleep well the night before, and then make those naps short so that they don't interrupt with your nighttime sleep. Make yourself a bedtime routine. This doesn't only work with kids. If you get in the habit of going to bed at a certain time, your body's going to expect to go to sleep at that certain time. Some recommend that you drink milk right before you go to bed, and it doesn't have to be dairy milk. It could be almond or cashew milk, as it will contain sleep-inducing tryptophan. Create a bedtime routine that involves things that make you tired, such as soft music, a warm shower, light reading material, or journaling. And television, right up until when you go to bed, stimulates the mind a little too much, so that can cause you difficulty with your sleeping. So try recording your favorite nighttime TV shows so that you can watch them the next day and not interrupt yourself right before you go to bed. You might want to choose to listen to 30 minutes of an audiobook at night if you want some entertainment. Mentally reviewing your day and finding 5 things to be grateful for can also signal it's time to go to sleep. If you dislike the word routine, then change it up a little bit, but make sure whatever action you choose, it will signal to you that it's time for your body to relax and for your mind to rest. Make it easy. Even if you can't initially incorporate all of this, start by incorporating some of it and then keep adding other things to your routine. So you're going to choose a regular bedtime. You're going to ideally go to bed by 10 o'clock at night and wake up by 6 o'clock in the morning, and set a predictable pattern for the mind. You're going to avoid bright screens 30 to 60 minutes before bedtime, because studies show that when our eyes are glued to screens, our brains are stimulated by the light, which makes falling asleep when the lights are turned off a challenge. Cover up any electronics with a cloth, because if they have a glowing light, they could light up the room and interrupt your sleep. A naturally dark room will signal to the brain and to the body that it's time for sleep. You want to remove any electronics from the room, so no televisions on in the room, and any other electronic equipment needs to be turned off and be dark. So turn your phone off, turn your iPad off, turn all that stuff off. The electromagnetic energy and radiation that comes from those digital devices also keeps your mind alert, especially if your cell phone makes a sound every time it receives an email or a Facebook post or whatever's going on. Get it out of your bedroom. You don't need it in there. You don't need to know that stuff's going on. You can check it all out when you get up in the morning. Turn off the TV at least 15 minutes before you're going to go to bed, and then have a completely dark room. Blue light is nobody's friend at bedtime. It plays with your circadian rhythm, waking you up rather than helping you sleep. The light from your devices has a high concentration of blue light, which affects levels of the sleep-inducing hormone melatonin from being released by your pineal gland. To avoid tossing and turning before sleep finally takes over, those tablets, televisions, and cell phones need to get the boot out of the bedroom. Next, while you're watching television at night, wear amber sunglasses, because that will block the blue light from reaching your brain, so that when you do go to bed, your brain is relaxed. Set your alarm before bedtime. So if you want to make sure that you go to bed every night at 10 o'clock, set an alarm that reminds you it's 10 o'clock and it's time to go to bed. So don't just set an alarm to get up in the morning, set an alarm to go to bed at night so that you don't miss it. 2 hours before bedtime, turn off your computer and any other electrical bombardment for the day. Don't watch the news. Guess what? The world will keep on spinning whether you're watching the news or not. So you'll hear about major developments whether you want to or not if you have the news on. So catch up on all that stuff when you get up in the morning. Prepare for tomorrow before you go to bed. Select your outfit for the next day, check the expected weather and include that information. Decide what you're going to wear, and if there's a stain on your top or a missing earring, you'll already know it because you already put your outfit together. One less thing to make a decision about when you're getting up in the morning is a good thing, and then stick to your choice. Whatever you choose to wear the next day, the night before, is going to be what you wear when you get up. If you take healthy snacks and lunch to work, pack them before you go to bed so that they're all ready to go, and make sure there's some protein-packed snacks and lots of fresh, clean water in your glass or stainless steel bottle. This is my stainless steel bottle. It goes everywhere I go, and it has filtered water from the filter system on my kitchen sink in it. So it isn't loaded with all the chemicals that come from my water system. You could also take a thermos of tea, so have it all ready to go, so you just have to make the tea, put it in your thermos, and walk out the door. You want to make sure that you wear comfortable sleeping night clothes. Change into comfortable clothes that are designed for sleep. Don't wear anything that you wear outside. Wear comfortable clothes that were made for sleeping. No sleeping in rumpled sweats that you wore to the grocery store. I wear gargantuous men's t-shirts because they're super comfortable, but they're not long. They end mid-thigh so they don't get all twisted up in my legs. They're soft and they're super comfortable, so that's what I sleep in. Drink soothing tea about an hour before you go to bed. My favorite is to drink chamomile, but I also like herbal chai tea, which is another good choice. Make a nice warm yummy drink to help you relax your body, and put a pinch of nutmeg in it, because nutmeg is a natural sleep inducer because it allows melatonin to release naturally, but be careful not to add too much, as too much nutmeg could become harmful for the body. Also recommend passion flower or valerian root. They're both excellent at inducing sleep. Or drink a mixture of warm, unsweetened almond milk with a little bit of vanilla, the real stuff, not the imitation, and a few drops of stevia. This drink will increase serotonin in your blood and help you to sleep. And then one other suggestion from Dr. Mark Hyman, who is one of the leading functional doctors, is to mix potato starch in a glass of water before bedtime. Start slowly with 1 teaspoon and gradually build up the dose, because this will feed your good gut bacteria, improve your blood sugar control, and helps you drift off to sleep. Put a nightlight in the bathroom so that if you have issues of nighttime awakening to use your bathroom, you can skip the tea and have it earlier in the evening. If you should awaken, then having a nightlight in the bathroom so you don't flip on the light and startle your body awake is important. I don't turn on any lights. I just sort of sit there in my fog and then I go right back to bed. Make a list about an hour before you go to bed of 3 tasks that you want to accomplish tomorrow, and tuck them in and list in your journal the things that you want to accomplish the next day, because when you begin the day with preset goals, you waste less time getting started in the morning, and if you write them down before you even think about going to bed, you clear all that garbage out of your mind and you're not thinking about it while you're laying there, which is what I call busy mind. You don't want busy mind when you lay down to go to sleep. You want to write down 5 things from the day that you're grateful for. Now, I practice gratitude in the morning, but I know a lot of people who practice gratitude at night. Either one is good, but make sure that you practice gratitude because it sets your mind in the right place for you to start your day the following morning. Offer prayers. If you say prayers, we all believe in something, so make sure that whatever that is, you offer prayers for the people that you care most about in your life, and you ask for them to be protected so that that is out of your busy mind when you're ready to go to sleep as well. If you need to do something when you go to bed, pleasure read. You can find something that would just bring you pleasure to read a little bit until you get sleepy, and then chipping chibang, you go to sleep. It should not be anything work related. It needs to be purely for pleasure. Make your bedroom your sanctuary. Keep it neat and quiet so that you feel calm when you enter. Your bedroom needs to be a getaway from the stress of the day. And if a TV's on and you aren't watching it, the light output feels almost as great as the sun to your brain. So that would confuse your body and make it hard to shut down even after you've turned off the screen. So you don't want to do any of that. You just want to go into a calm, comfortable, organized sleep space that you're only going to sleep or have sex in. There's nothing else that you're ever going to do in that room, so that it's just a place that's restful for you to sleep. Create a restful environment. Make sure your bed and your pillows are comfortable for your body. No two bodies are the same, so test them out. Make sure that the ones that you're using are right for you. Have darkening shades to cut out any light that might come through the window. If it's a bright moon night, you don't want that coming in your window. You want it to be completely dark. So pull your shades down so that it is. Set your lights low and play restful music, and crack the window open just a wee bit so that you're getting fresh air, and then set the temperature at a comfortable level. Now, I set our temperature between 67 and 69 because I sleep best when my body is cool. And pretty much generally, everybody sleeps better when the room is cool. So make sure that you turn down your heat if you're someplace where it's warm, and that 67 to 69 is as warm as it is in your bedroom. You can put covers over you, but you want to make sure that you're feeling that cool air on your skin so that you get a good night's sleep. If you have joint pain, you want to use extra pillows so that you can cushion those. And I hug a pillow. I have a long, skinny body pillow that I hug, and I love it because it helps me keep all my body aches away, because it puts my upper arm at an upper level so that I'm not feeling the aches and pains of it being at an awkward level. So use a body pillow that will make your body be in a position where you have a natural hug, and that makes it easier for you to sleep. With my autoimmune disease, having that pillow eases my body pain because it's in a more natural position. Dim the lights early in your bedroom. This is great to do as part of your evening ritual when you begin to diffuse essential oil. And what I recommend that you diffuse is lavender oil, because that's also going to be very calming to your body. You should have a diffuser. You don't ever want to use any scent that isn't a natural, organic essential oil, and lavender is the best one for sleep. So you're going to dim the lights, which messages to your brain that it's time to wind down, and then you're going to have this beautiful lavender essential oil diffusing from your diffuser, and that will be what starts your melatonin production cycle. And your melatonin is your sleep induction hormone. Melatonin doesn't keep you to sleep, but it will start the process of getting you to go to sleep. And again, you want to make sure that your room is completely dark. Your body is designed to sleep when it's dark, and you're not used to this. Try it for a while anyway, because by being completely dark, your body can just shut off and go to sleep. So you're going to shut your door and then sleep like you're hibernating like a bear. You're going to improve the ventilation in the room, which is why cracking the window a little bit is good for you, because a stuffy room can increase nasal congestion, which would hinder your ability to breathe. And if you can't breathe, then you can't get a restful night's sleep. It's a known fact that if you're congested, you do not have enough good airflow through the air passages. And so think of a baby, and when they're congested, they get a little cranky and a little fussy, and they don't sleep well, and you don't either. So you want to make sure that you have some good air circulation and that you're not congested. Now, to make sure that I'm not congested, I take a supplement called Quercetin. Quercetin keeps my nasal passages completely open. It's a supplement that's a gift that gives gifts. It's good for my body. Quercetin is good for my brain. It's good for my gut. It's good for my liver. It's good for my kidneys. It's good for my lower intestine. And it keeps my nasal passages open, and so I can breathe fully. So it's wonderful all the way around. So give it a try. You want to wake up feeling alert in the morning, and if you live in a city where there's a lot of noise at night, then invest in some good earplugs so that you can open up the window for at least 15 minutes during the evening to allow fresh air in. And then, as I said, you want to keep your bedroom quiet, cool, and dark, and turn the temperature in the house down to 67 to 69 so that the air in your bedroom is cool enough that you can get a good night's sleep. If I like to sleep in a cool room, so with an open window when it's nice out, with the air conditioning on when it's sweltering, because if the room is too hot, I don't sleep well. So you want to make sure that if your husband likes a room that's warmer, then you let him use extra blankets, but you still get the air in the room down to the appropriate temperature. And if you're a woman going through menopause, I recommend oil of primrose because that will even out the temperature in your body. And then again, you need a cooler room. If anybody has been going through this, you go through these things called hot flashes where just suddenly you are on fire and you don't want to be on fire. So keep the temperature low for that as well. You don't need to be going through menopause because that will interrupt your sleep and you don't want to go through that. The sweet spot in temperature for a good night's sleep is actually 65. So I keep our house a little bit warmer than what the sweet spot is supposed to be, but 67 to 69 works really well for me. Before you go to bed, take a warm shower or a bath. And I thought this was interesting. I do it partly to relax my body. Somebody told me I'm washing off all the junk that has gotten on my aura before I go to bed. That could be, I don't know. But what it does is it heats up the body on the outside so that the inside temperature drops. And that's a good thing. And I take it with magnesium with Epsom salts, which also relaxes my body and makes it easier for me to sleep. If you still are having a hard time when you go to bed at night, try a little bit of light yoga before you go to sleep. That stretching and some of the yoga exercises will help you go to sleep. It will help relax your body, and it would be good for you. And none of these rituals work if you're taking a sleeping pill, so please don't take a sleeping pill. They're not going to help you find other ways to get a good night's sleep without doing it through some kind of a medication that's going to disturb your circadian rhythm and disturb your melatonin production. You've already known that you were going to block out the noise. You've already removed your cell phone so that you've silenced that noise from happening. You've already played some relaxing music by the time your head hits the pillow and you're ready to go to sleep. If you still need help, then play a machine that plays white noise because that would help you. And it could be something as small as a little small fountain in your bedroom or to play a digital white noise machine from any online source. The white noise will be calming to your brain and release even brain waves. All right, I want to be able to grab this page. If you're still having a hard time when you're going to bed at night, before you go to bed, before you're even getting ready, you put on your sleep clothes, change the sheets. Because there's nothing better than brand new, fresh, washed sheets to relax your body. When you climb in, they'll be smooth, they'll be unwrinkled, and that will also help you get a good night's sleep. And then Don't underestimate the power of smell to calm you. There are some other smells that from your childhood might soothe you. Think pine, cinnamon, cloves, or Indian jasmine. In addition to lavender, all of those would relax your brain and help you sleep. You can also burn a fragrant oil, drop a little on your pillow, make a spice bag to put next to your bed, or even bring a potted plant in next to you. Whatever you choose to do, remember you're gunning for a deeper relaxation, which is why you're doing it off. Okay, so now you're heading to bed and you're ready to go to sleep. Your state of mind is critical to you getting to sleep and staying asleep. So you want to make sure that you have released your stress, you have done all your breathing exercises. We use something called a belly button wand. Look it up. Amazon sells it, but look it up from the original site that sells it, because they have a series of videos that will tell you how it works. The theory is you were born through your belly button, so through your belly button you can approach and exercise every organ in your body, and it resets your parasympathetic nervous system at the back of your neck by just jiggling it for 3 minutes before bed, and that will relax you and release all your stress, and it's another way for you to release stress to get a good night's sleep. If you had any questions before you're going to sleep at night, you want to make sure that you've dealt with them, like what bills need to be paid or what time a doctor appointment is, so that when you lay down, all of that is already resolved, so that that busy mind is quiet and ready for sleep. If you need to, keep a notebook next to you, next to where you sleep, and if you still have busy thoughts in your mind, write them in the notebook. You won't forget them that way. They'll be there when you get up in the morning and you can deal with them then, but you want to empty out your brain because you don't want any of that stuff floating around in there. So that's called a pro sleep journal, and any blank notebook will do, and you just write down whatever's going through your mind and let it go. And then when you're done writing, you could read something that's inspirational just for a moment to give yourself a really good thought to think about, something inspirational that would be a great quote that would be good for you. Once you've learned to rest well at night, you'll experience a huge improvement in your quality of life and the level of your success. So you'll stop yawning during the day and the morning, you'll stop feeling groggy and grumpy, and you'll be the energetic person that you want to be for the rest of your life. So what are you waiting for? Start a nourishing, nurturing, and relaxing bedtime routine at night. Now, one of the things that I do is the Dr. Weil 478 breathing, but I also sometimes do what's called the perfect breath, which is 5.5 seconds in and 5.5 seconds out. After I do the Dr. Weil exercise and I feel my body relaxing, I like to do the perfect breath because it has a rhythm kind of similar to my sleep rhythm, and so that's the final way that I breathe to relax my body and put it into go to sleep mode. You could also do some guided meditation. There are lots of tapes that would guide you through a meditation, so if you want to empty your brain and get it quiet, a guided meditation is a great idea. One of the things that I do is a guided meditation, and it's where I clear my chakras. So you'd have to know where your chakras are. There's 7 of them, and they're the 7 portals of energy to the body. And I start bringing light in from the universe into my crown chakra, and then I clean it out. I take the light in and out and in and out and in and out, and then I bring it down and I take it in and out my third eye, and I do this maybe 10 times so that I get it completely clear and ready to go. Then I go down to my throat chakra. The throat chakra opens to the front and to the back, so you take the light all the way through your throat. Then you come down and you take it in and out your heart chakra. Then you take it down and take it in and out your solar plexus. Then you take it in and out to the next one down, which is in the middle of your stomach. And finally, you shoot it out your bottom and down to the ground and lay roots as you send that light all the way down to the center of the earth, where you're going to find a big, bright orange-yellow ball, and you're going to let it just sit there for a minute. and enjoy the warmth of it for a minute, and then you're going to bring that light back up through your body, through all the root system that you laid down, all the way up, and then let it cascade out your crown chakra and all around your body, and then you swirl it around your body, and as you do that, you feel it relax in your body. Now, if I'm doing this guided meditation, I rarely get through the whole thing because I fall asleep somewhere in the middle of it, which is fine. This is just an exercise that gets your mind concentrating on something that's going to be completely relaxing, that will allow you to nod off and go into deep sleep. If you still need help, then before you lay down to go to bed at night, do some affirmations and some self-talk. That you probably are familiar with affirmations by now. Lots of people have been promoting them. I used to wonder how affirmations work because just by saying it didn't make it so. But if you act upon what you're affirming, then you're likely to bring it into fruition. So if you're telling yourself that it's time to relax and that you relax easily when you lay down at night, and that it's easy for you to go to sleep at night, and that's your affirmation, and you continually say that to yourself until your body and your mind relaxes and believes it, it'll be much easier for it to work for you and for you to go to sleep. And then my last suggestion is to make sure that all your electromagnetic frequencies are gone, because they will also affect your sleep cycles, and both your hearts and your brains have bioelectric currents that make them work, and by definition, that current is in the electromagnetic field. So you want to make sure that you relax that. The researchers at the HeartMath Institute have measured that field in humans for as much as 8 feet away from the body, and cellular and Wi-Fi signals will affect that field, creating a feeling of chaos and anxiety in our gut, our mind, and our chest area, which is why it's so important that you get your electronics out of your bedroom, because you don't want them interfering with the energy fields that you naturally have in your body. The next suggestion is to move the clock, because if you're not going to sleep and you're looking at your clock every 5 minutes, that's going to make you feel frustrated and stressed that you're not sleeping. So don't allow yourself to see the clock. Turn it around. You don't need to see it. Just know that you're going to lay there and that you're going to get a good night's sleep. And if you still can't sleep after you've done all these things and you've been laying in bed for a while, what I do is I move. I get up from where I'm sleeping in my bed, and I'll go out to the couch and I'll lay down there with a nice warm, soft, comfy blanket. Sometimes just by moving where I was trying to sleep, going to a different place, bam, I'm out and I sleep through the night. So that is in the worst case scenario. Just get up and go to sleep somewhere else. Your body will know that you've moved because it's important to you to get a night's sleep. Now, avoid sleep medications. We've been talking about that. They're not going to help you get a quality night's sleep, and they will do damage to your body, and the last thing you want to do is get addicted to a sleep medication. So, side effects of sleep medications include grogginess, addiction, and weakened memory. They increase your risk of death and cancer, even if you only take them for a short period of time. They weaken your immune system and can cause you to make very poor judgments the next day. So there are no past or current sleeping medications on the legal or illegal market that induce natural sleep. So don't get me wrong, no one would claim that you are awake after taking a prescription of sleeping pills, but to suggest that you're experiencing natural sleep is an equally false assertion. Anybody taking sleeping pills 4 to 6 times are more likely to die in this short 2.5-year period than those who were not taking any sleeping pills at all. So it's not a good idea. Find other ways to get a good night's sleep. And I haven't gone through any of the supplements that are natural, that are alternative ways for you to get a good night's sleep, and there are some really good ones, so hold on for a second. The most alarming was the mortality risk for people who only dabbled in sleeping pill use for a short period of time. Even very occasional users, those defined as taking just 18 pills a year, were still 3 to 6 times more likely to die at some point across the assessment window than non-users. So no sleeping pills, okay? You don't need the pharmaceutical. Okay, my first way to get a good night's sleep is to make banana tea. And how do you do that? You take the skins of a banana off the banana and you put it in hot water and you boil it for maybe 15 minutes, and then you cool that water, and then that becomes banana tea, and you drink that with maybe a little bit of stevia or a little bit of monk fruit to give it a little bit of sweetness. There's something in the banana skin that will relax your body and allow you to sleep. There's some vitamins that you should be taking on a regular basis. B vitamins and calcium and magnesium. Magnesium relaxes the body. That's one reason I love Epsom salt baths at night, because that's magnesium and it relaxes my body. And it works with your tryptophan to help your pineal gland produce melatonin. And then there are melatonin supplements. Now, melatonin won't keep you asleep. It only helps you go to sleep, but that in itself makes it a worthy supplement to take. If you take this over-the-counter supplement, it will aid you in falling asleep. It's a hormone produced in the body that regulates your sleep and wake cycles. The best source of melatonin is the light and the sun of Mother Nature, which is why when you get up in the morning, you want to get outside into the sun for 15 minutes. But if you need the supplement, it does work well and it doesn't have a downside. Always seek the advice of your doctor or pharmacist before you take any supplement. So ask him about melatonin and whether or not that would be a worthy substitute for taking a real sleeping pill, which you don't want to take. And if he wants you to take a sleeping pill, then have a robust conversation with him and show him what your research shows. Get involved, look it up, find out why you shouldn't be taking sleeping pills, and have the conversation. We know that lavender is good for you. We know that diffusing essential oils is good for you. Valerian is an herbal supplement in pill form that will help you improve your sleep, promote relaxation, and reduce your anxiety. Again, check with your doctor, because I'm not a doctor, but check with him and tell him you want to take some valerian to help you sleep. Drink chamomile tea at night while you're watching television before it's time to go to bed. You're going to have the right cutoff time, but a nice soothing cup of that herbal tea is fabulous. And invest in a plant like a peace lily that will naturally purify the air. But be careful with peace lilies, because when I researched for my cats, the stamen from the peace lily is very poisonous to cats, so no peace lilies if you have cats. You don't want them to be getting into that flower and eating it and getting sick, at which case we have cats, so we bought an air purifier, which we have in our bedroom. We have an air purifier in our bedroom and an air purifier in our living room, which are the two rooms we spend the most time in, and that way we're breathing very clean air, which also helps us sleep. Okay, then the last part of what I want to talk about is beauty sleep and whether or not that's a real thing, which yes it is. Can sleep really help with weight loss? Yes, of course it can. I get this question all the time because it comes down to stress and hormones. And if you're stressed and if your hormones are all out of whack, which is all your feel-good hormones and your insulin and your dopamine and your serotonin and your insulin, which is your equalizer for your moods, if those are not in balance, then yep, it will stop you from losing weight, and your ghrelin and your leptin, which are the two hormones that control your appetite, will be out of whack. So sleep helps all of that. So you want to make sure you're eating the right food and that all of your hormones are balanced, and sleep helps that. If you're eating too much food, that's going to get in the way of your beauty. If you're not eating the right foods, that's going to get in the way of your beauty. If you're stressed all the time, including when you go to bed, that shortens your telomeres, which are those hard tips to your DNA, like the tips on shoelaces. And if you shorten your DNA, then it does give you wrinkly skin and impact your beauty. And sleep also shortens those tips and your on your shoelaces, so that you want to make sure that you're getting a good night's sleep, because that all impacts your beauty. A recent study showed that people who didn't get sufficient night's sleep have 15% lower leptin level than those who had enough sleep, and they rise during the sleeping cycle. So if you have poor sleep, then you're going to happen to feel hungry the following next day, and that's because your levels of leptin dropped while you were sleeping, telling your brain that you need to get up and eat. Leptin controls your appetite. We don't hear very much about leptin. Leptin was a surprise to me in terms of losing weight when I got sick, and it was important in terms of me losing the 60 pounds that I've lost. You can break the cycle by going to bed earlier and getting your 7 hours of restorative sleep each night. Cut the intake of caffeine. Make sure that you have your morning ritual of mindfulness, and that during the day you're aware of how tired you are, how you feel, and whether or not you're grabbing a latte or a chocolate to keep yourself going, and making sure that you're getting enough water. Breaking this cycle takes the full presence and concerted awareness of habits, effort, and time. With dedicated practice, you can lose weight if you get enough sleep. So it's one of the factors to losing weight. Your hormones are another major factor to whether or not you're losing weight, and aging is a factor of getting a good night's sleep. If you're tired of looking tired every morning and you want to use less makeup and allow more of your natural beauty to shine through, the secret is 7 continuous hours of sleep. People were rated by strangers as less healthy and approachable when they had tired faces, so they were considered to be less attractive. And even naps, something that I'm a proponent of, can help decrease wrinkles and dark under the eye circles. But remember, you don't want to ever take more than like a 15-minute power nap, because that's going to keep you up at the end of the day. Beauty sleep is not a myth or a made-up fairy tale. It's as real as it gets. So why do we need 7 hours or more of sleep to achieve it? The National Sleep Foundation says increasing the desired hours of sleep between 7 and 9, if you have a lot of bags under your eyes, will help you get more beautiful and more rested when you get up in the morning. So if you want to wake up looking better, feeling sexier and prettier, go to bed earlier. If you are rising by 5 a.m., try going to bed at 9 p.m. I get up at 5 a.m. every morning, because that's when I wake up. That means you start prepping for bed with no blue light in the bedroom and a small soothing cup of chamomile tea around 7:30 at night. Beauty and attractiveness start from the inside. I did a whole podcast on beauty is an inside deal. So if you want to go back and watch that, all of your skin diseases come from the gut. So if you're having a problem with eczema or psoriasis or acne, it's an inside job, so make sure that you're getting the appropriate stuff for your gut to be healthy, so that that doesn't impact your beauty on the outside. And by creating a sleep sanctuary in the bedroom, using a silk eye mask or sleeping on a silk pillowcase, using soft colors, using plants that give off good oxygen like aloe vera, and using aromatherapy like lavender or Roman chamomile to set your sleep mood, all of that will help you feel more beautiful in the morning. It's all about how we feel, and never forget that beauty starts on the inside. You can get your sexy back through sleep. You can feel sexier, you can be sexier, you can look sexier. So all of that is a good thing that comes from sleep. And during sleep, the body goes through a series of phases of repair and regeneration at a cellular level. The body requires the correct amount of quality sleep in order to effectively complete all that work needed for muscle repair, memory consolidation, and release of hormones, such as growth and appetite. So you want to make sure that you get that great night's of sleep, because if you're not having all of those processes work properly, it will impact how you look on the outside as well as how you are functioning on the inside. So those are all of my suggestions for getting a good night's sleep. Start adopting some of them right away. Certainly make sure that you have the perfect situation in your bedroom for you to go to sleep at night, that all your electronics are gone, that you have a perfectly dark room, that it's soft and it's relaxing in there, that you have white noise so that you can't hear your neighbor coming home at 2 o'clock in the morning, with which, whether he woke you up or not, your brain did acknowledge. Make sure that you have all of that stuff in place so that you get this great 7 hours of sleep all the way through, so that when you wake up in the morning, you're waking up beautiful, with great skin, and raring to go, because that's what's going to make your day as effective as possible. So thank you for listening to me. I love sharing all these sleep ideas with you, and I look forward to seeing you next time for another It Feels Good to Feel Good, Future-Proof Your Health. Thank you. Hello, could I see a show of hands if there's anybody out there like me who's tried to lose weight their whole life and not been successful? So you've tried all the different diets available. You've tried Weight Watcher. You've tried Jenny Craig. You've tried all the New York Times bestsellers. And the last time you did it, you started off great, just like all the other times. And you started losing weight, and then all of a sudden you fell off the horse. And before you know it, you're eating fast food and processed food again with all that sugar, and you don't even know why. And in the end, you've gained more weight than where you started out. So you now are beating yourself up that you just don't have the willpower to win. If that's you, I want to address the elephant in the room, because 9 years ago, I got autoimmune disease and started researching because I didn't want the pain that came with the autoimmune disease, and the added benefit was I lost the weight along the way. So let me tell you what happens. Big Food doesn't want you to win. They've rigged the system. They've put so many chemicals into fast food and processed food that they light up the brain like a pinball machine. It's the same part of the brain that goes off for cocaine and heroin, and you feel great when you eat that food, but it's not making you feel good, and you're starving your body for nutrition because it's loaded with empty calories. So you're getting fat eating that food, and it's not giving your body what you need. And it's turning off all your own feel-good hormones of serotonin and dopamine, and even your insulin, which keeps your moods even. But worse than that, there's two little hormones here at the back of your neck called ghrelin and leptin, and they don't work, and they regulate your appetite because all those chemicals have subdued them, so you don't even know when you're full. So what did I learn to do instead? I'm eating the GLAD diet, loaded with all the phytonutrients that my body needs to be healthy and to thrive and to boost my immune system and to ditch the pain. And along the way of eating all this live food, I lost 60 pounds without dieting. You see, I was starving my body for nutrition when I was eating the standard American diet, and now that I'm giving my body all those beautiful phytonutrients, it's not holding on to it anymore, so it's just dropping it automatically. So don't eat the standard American diet. I don't want you to get a standard American disease, and I certainly don't want you to die the standard American death. Instead, start eating the GLAD diet, because by eating all those beautiful phytonutrients, you will be healthier and you will live long and thrive. Thank you.